total of 17 auctions. I'm just leaving my last auction, actually, 7 o'clock at night. And I started at 9 o'clock this morning. And I know that a lot of people that join in on the Saturday evening wraps that I do are not just real estate agents, but they're actually people that follow the real estate market, and they're looking for a very good helicopter view of what's happening. So out of the 17 auctions, I've just counted them. I actually am surprised it's as good as what I'm about to tell you. I actually thought it was a lot worse. So out of the 17 auctions, 14 sold. The big results were a home in Newtown, a suburb I absolutely adore. And the reason I adore it is I was actually spent a lot of my life living there in Newtown. So we actually had a house at Newtown. Let me just press that on. Yeah, beautiful. Sold for $3.3 million. 5-bedroom home. That was in Burren Street, Newtown, if you want to go look it up online. I did a development site in Yaguna, 987 square meters, 2 blocks of land, 2 houses. Husband and wife owned those homes, and they put them up for auction, and it just got over $3,360,000 or $3,365,000. That was a really great result. And then there was a 2-bedroom unit, which was only up the road from where I was brought up as a young kid in Belmore, very close to Belmore Sports Ground, where the Bulldogs play, or they used to play. And that sold for $766,000. An old brick, red brick, 2-bedroom unit sold for $765,000 in Belmore. Like, if you look at the median values of Belmore, you'll realise that, man, that is just way out of line. Nice inside, kitchen, beautifully restored there. The bathroom, probably the best bathroom in Belmore, I'd say. But nevertheless, it was a 2-bedroom unit. But here's what's happening. If you're a vendor, you're nuts not to reconsider your last figure at the moment. Because what I'm seeing is happening is vendors that aren't happy with the number they're getting at auction one week are getting really upset about what happens the week after. You see, when a market's going up, if you pass a property in, you sort of reignite a bit of buyer energy when you put a price tag on it, right? You might pick up 1 or 2 other people, the leftover buyer from the auction, they start fighting over it. And we know that competition can sort of get you an extra, 10, 20, 30 grand. But in a marketplace like now, where we clearly know that if anything happens to rates, they're going up. Number 2, we know that come election campaign time, a bit of a pause button happens in real estate. And buyers now, they've changed. They don't care if they miss out, because what used to be fear of missing out has become fear of overpaying. And my biggest challenge, and that's why my days are being dragged out really, really long, is I'm spending a lot of time in having to educate vendors that they shouldn't be looking at the comparable sales of October, because it appears that October was the peak in the market that I'm in anyway, where I auction in Sydney. And yes, November, December weren't great times in real estate. And then they sort of picked up a little bit in January in terms of buyer energy, because there was no stock around, right? So the buyers sort of, some of those leftover properties from late last year ended up getting decent money. But now man, there's properties coming through all the time. Stock levels are at decent levels. Chatter about interest rates. And my biggest challenge, and I try really hard to articulate to a vendor that, hey, no, you have missed a boom. You've missed it. But your home is still getting a lot more money than what it would in February last year. Significantly more money. Your home is still getting a lot more money than it would have got in March, January. But it's softened a bit since then. And I think that often real estate agents need to take into account that the reference point that vendors are using are the most attractive reference points. They can't help it. They latch onto sales that went really well and they compare it to their homes. They latch onto properties that they might not even be comparable, but to a vendor's eyes, they say, but that's sold for that. So here's what I'd like to say. What you should be doing is probably, if it's an auction campaign, I think there's about 40 points of contact you've got to be having with a vendor from the day you list it to the day of the auction. I think during those 40 points of contact, which are going to include face-to-face, they're going to include phone calls, they're going to include text messages, they're going to include a weekly vendor report on Monday, they're going to include a crucial conversation on Tuesday. Prefer that to be face-to-face. If you do that, if you have 40 points of contact from the day you list it to the day of the auction, they're not going to be shocked at the result. And what are the smart agents doing? They're also helping those vendors understand that when they were looking to buy 4 months ago to their destination area, where they're going to relocate to, well, generally speaking, those areas have come off a bit as well. So because those areas have come off, as a vendor, not much has changed if you're selling and buying in the same market. And I think if you're a real estate agent and you're watching this right now, I think you really need to learn the art of explaining the 2-chapter book in real estate, of helping a vendor understand that there are 2 chapters when you're in the sell-buy process, and that is what you sell for and what you buy for, and that there is the changeover number that matters. And when a real estate agent sits down with pen and paper to a vendor and shows the changeover, what happens is they realize their selling price has gone down, but then they realize their buying price has gone down, and subsequently the changeover value stays the same. So the good news is, my real estate agent friends joining this Saturday evening market wrap, here's the good news. Most people that are selling and buying in real estate are not doing it for money reasons. They're doing it because they're doing it for lifestyle reasons. They're doing it because they're separating. They're doing it because there's been an illness in the family. They're doing it because they're relocating for work. They're doing it because there's more babies coming and they need more space. They're doing it because they want to go live near their in-laws to help with babysitting. They're doing it because they want to stop living in a unit and they want a block of land. They're doing it because they want to go out and hang out at the surf in Byron Bay instead of living in Haberfield. They're doing it for lifestyle reasons. And that's why, my friends, real estate is the greatest job in the world, because there are always people that are buying and selling. And if you can learn the art of getting vendors to accept the reality of the marketplace by having incredible product knowledge, learning the art of building trust with your people, having a robust stay in touch strategy with a vendor from list to sell date, you got nothing to worry about. In fact, you got something to be happy about. You're about to win market share, because a lot of people can't do that.